Hello my beautiful people, welcome to your weekly general taroscope with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. Let's get straight into it. So these are the general energies, trends and themes that we're likely to be experiencing over the course of the week. All of this is of course infused with or in line with my intuitive message. So every week I go into my intuition and I will ask what it is that we need to know for the week ahead. What is the overarching energy or trend or theme that's likely to be playing out for all of us in some way, shape or form. Sometimes we see world events here. Sometimes we will see kind of like a lot of people have called it a spiritual coaching message. So whichever way you receive these, thank you so much for being here. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help us all on our paths to our highest vibrational good. So this week, the intuitive message was, even with a broken chain, shackles are still shackles. So the reason I say this is when I went into my intuition this week, what I saw was, you know, like those old metal things was around somebody's foot and the chain had been broken off, and it's like, okay, great. In some regard, this means that we're all being made more free in some way, shape or form, or there could be some situation coming to an end. But what then? You've still got like a big ugly metal thing shackled to your leg. So even though you can now get away from a situation, how much of it are you taking forward with you? What of, and obviously sometimes when we go through hard experiences and we experience trauma, etc., there will be things that we take forward with us, right? Every scar tells a story, as they say. But this week, you really need to consider, where are you actually free and where do you just have the appearance of freedom? I can think of a whole bunch of places in life that we could say this, but on a more personal level, this really feels like quite relevant for us over the course of this week. So our destiny card, the overarching energy of the cards through the Human Design Oracle deck, ooh, okay, that one's clearly wanting out, is the gate, of course it is, the gate 34 and power. And the message behind this card is finding your own unique power, what truly makes you you, and owning and claiming your own sovereignty is something that you should really put your time, your effort and your energy into this week. I don't know why, but I feel like taking ownership, responsibility, agency for yourself, these are things that are going to be really, really important. Don't defer to anything or anyone else. And where it is that you come up against a barrier or something that's holding you back or telling you that you can no longer move forward or progress any further, at that point you have to ask yourself, even with a broken shackle, even with a broken chain, a shackle is still a shackle, right? How do we best utilize that power card? How do we tap into our own power? How do we use more of our authenticity and our unique abilities, talents and skills? Well, this week we have the Seven of Wands. So look at that. That's really interesting, right? So we've got the 34 energy, the gate of 34, 3 and 4 gives you 7. Then you've got the Seven of Wands. Now, what I've sort of noticed with this week's, before I get into pulling any more cards, it's really important that I talk about this. So in numerology, as we come into the last 3 months of the year, we start to feel the energies, the trends and the themes of the next universal year to come in. Next year, 2023, is going to be a 7 year, right? So if you notice yourself getting a little bit more subdued, a little bit more hermetic, starting to pull back away, maybe asking deeper questions, maybe probing for more information where usually you would just kind of sit back and take it all at face value, this is going to be a year where people are asking a lot more questions and they want better answers, quite frankly. And it looks like that's kicking in all this week. When I was when I was recording the weekly videos for this week, there were so many cards that came up that was like, I was like, okay, we're obviously seeing the 7 energy straight out of the gate, right? Because we finished the week on the 2nd of October, and on top of that, Mercury will go direct on the 2nd of October. Well, it will station to go direct on the 2nd of October. So this, for me, I find really interesting. And now we've got this double hit of the 7 energy. So one way that we tap into this is by being prepared to fight for what you believe in and to say what you feel you need to say. with the Six of Cups. So this could be as well some old issue, challenge, or maybe even dispute or discussion that's come up for you before. So this really might be a week where you're having to readdress the balance of power in your life. It might also be a time where finding, connecting, or collaborating or working with like-minded souls, people that are on the same wavelength, people that speak the same language. And this isn't about like, well, they agree with me, so you know what, these are my people. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about people that resonate on the same vibrational frequency as you. Are they living their highest truth? Are they living that authenticity? Are they standing up to speak their truth? And more importantly, do they just accept the conditions that they are given? If they do, probably not your people. If you're on my channel, you're a bit of a rebel by nature. For your next card out, you've got the Nine of Swords. And this card, like literally, this could be something that you have worried about previously. So I'm going to give you a scenario here. You know, like, and I've said this a lot. This phrase keeps coming up, which tells me that there's something happening this week for me. This is how this is likely to show up. We all have a past. Everybody has things that they'd rather maybe not talk so much about, or things that they might be a little bit embarrassed about, or whatever. Every single if you stood in front of me and said, this is a perfect person who's never done anything wrong, never made a mistake, never whatever, I would tell you straight up that person's a bullshitter, quite frankly, right? Excuse my language, but that's the truth of it. However, owning your story this week, being prepared to say, well, it's kind of like one of those things, right, where someone says, well, I'm going to completely discredit you because I know this about your history. Right, okay, so for this one thing, you literally discard everything else that I can be or do or say or become. That makes no sense to me. It never has, right? So this week, that Nine of Swords, especially with the Six of Cups, own your story. And at the point that somebody, Seven of Wands, is going to try to use it against you, you claim it in hand so that you can use it as your sword and your shield should you need to. Maybe sometimes we have to break our own shackles, right? Take the power back into your own hands. For our insight cards, what do we need to know about what's coming in or what might be showing up for us behind the scenes? So we've got two cards that have flown out. The first one is the Fool card. New things, new places, new people, new energies are shaping up. And this is also a time where the reset button is being pushed for all of us in some way, shape or form this week. And I kind of get the feeling that there's going to be something for all of us that maybe pushes you to the point, not of like where you're like incensed and you're in a total rage, but there might be something this week that annoys you enough for you to say, right, you know what? I'm not having this experience again. I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to do something different with it. Then we've got the Knight of Cups. So this is new offers, new opportunities to speak up and out. This could be as well because of some of the changes that you're making this week. Maybe this opens up new avenues or new pathways for you. So you know what I like most about this? It really does feel for me like whatever somebody was going to try to get to use against you this week, not only does it piss you off enough for you to really kind of own it and say, okay, you know what, we're going to tango, let's do it. I never condone violence, by the way. But it's like maybe in that sort of social sense, in a mental sense or an emotional sense, or even in a spiritual sense, this is like, you know what, I'm not settling for this. And it's like by owning and claiming that power, that authenticity, and really finding a way to express yourself, it actually opens up new avenues for you because you then start to attract the people that resonate at the same frequency that won't just take it lying down. For your third and final, you have the Eight of Wands. This is a week to build connections. This is a week to be open to the new networks that can find you. This is a week for you to really think about breaking out of your own mold and not allowing your past, your history, where you've been, who you've been with. Don't let any of that stuff hold you back. This is a week for you to really claim yourself, your power, your agency, your voice, to use those things this week to really stand for yourself. Now, on the wider world stage, I wouldn't be surprised, as with those direction cards, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the stuff in the news at the moment starts to descend into disputes. It tends to be what happens, you know, and I really hope that's not the case. But what happens when we lose a matriarch or, you know, a strong figurehead in a family, things, you know, then when somebody is jealous of someone else or whatever, all of those secret or old resentments come up. And because there isn't that strong hand on the tiller to say, listen, you lot get your shit together, excuse my potty mouth today, right? It tends to descend into a little bit of craziness. I have a suspicion that we might see something like that, and I really hope that we don't, because it's kind of doing the, you know, it's kind of doing the lady a disservice. That's as much as I'm going to say on that, because I don't like to get into politics and all the rest of it. It really is none of my business, to be quite frank. And I'm here to build people up. I'm here to give people a voice or to remind them that they have one. For the insight cards on the wider world stage, really, like, this could be, keep your ear to the ground about some of the alternative ideas and connections that are coming up. I don't know why, I kind of get the feeling that this is going to be either a new social media platform or one of the current social media platforms is going to be called out on some of their behavior. Instagram. Sorry, something in my throat. With that said, I wish you all an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments, what do you think? What do you feel? How do you think this might show up? How are you feeling these energies? And where is it that you are ready to break the shackles and the chains off of your own feet? With that said, take care and I'll see you soon.